There is something so special about games that you can only play once in your life. I'm not talking about games that are so bad or emotionally damaging that you would loathe playing them again. I'm not talking about games that take so long that you might not even want to start them in fear of having all of your free time taken up. I'm not even talking about games that have impacted you in a special time in your life, and that any attempt to recreate that experience will feel like a cheap copy. No, I'm talking about games where your first time playing it, your naivete, is so critical to the experience at hand that you won't be able to look at the game in the same way without it. Not just the gameplay or the story, but every single element that you can possibly experience within the confines of the screen. The energy propelling you forward is discovery. And you can't Columbus or Men in Black mind wipe your favorite game, believe me, I've tried. The essence of this discovery is most present probably in the game called Outer Wilds. In short, it's a game about exploring a galaxy with your tiny little spaceship to its farthest stretches. In long, it's much, much more than that. It's a game that's been talked about by so many people online, people who absolutely adore it more than anything else in their lives. They say it's a game that will change your life, and it probably will change mine. But I just can't beat it. I can't. It's been sitting at the back of my Steam library for so long, just sitting there unplayed. I've started it so many times, only to realize that it's not the right time for me to play it, for some reason. But I can't beat it. Or maybe I just don't want the journey to end. Your galaxy will die. This is the promise that Outer Wilds gives to the player when they start the game. It seems like a pretty standard space exploration game starting out, beginning on the home planet of Timber Hearth, slowly learning the controls of how to pilot a spaceship, and eventually yourself in the far reaches of deep space. Eventually, you take off from Timber Hearth, and you find a few planets that stick out to you in this solar system. That is, until you begin to hear a faint tune making its way closer and closer to you. Wherever you are, you hear it. The depths of the water planet in Giant's Deep, in between the twin planets Ash and Ember, in the far reaches of space, the track called The End Times starts playing. And then the sun in Outer Wilds explodes every 22 minutes on the dot. It keeps going in an endless loop until you can figure out what's wrong with it. Despite the repeating loop, nothing is the same in this universe. Every time the sun explodes into a supernova, so do your potential choices. Each time you wake back up, you find something different about the world. There's very little dialogue, with most of the writing in the game left behind by the civilization of Nomai in text files. This extinct alien civilization populated the universe before, and their ruins hold the crux of the plot of Outer Wilds, which is the key to stopping the sun from exploding. Even some of the most minor details of these ruins have volumes of Nomai history behind them. So much is told through so little speech. This brevity of communication and the endless expanse of the Outer Wilds is the reason why its storytelling is so strong. Your body may die, but your mind is still the same. Each cycle you come back to find something new about the galaxy, and you feel like you were the one that discovered it. Each cycle, you write your own story, and each time you die, your story plays back at you in the loop. Outer Wilds is such a special game because this journey is so different for everyone. It's one of the best examples of nonlinear storytelling in decades because every single person has a different, unique experience with the game. But writing these stories for yourself requires an incredible amount of investment on behalf of the player. The grit to keep going when things get tough, the drive to find new avenues to new areas, the ingenuity to find the solutions to really hard puzzles. And on top of all of that, you can only truly play this game one time. That finality of this experience is, I think, where I'm stuck, and the reason why I haven't been able to beat Outer Wilds. But more than that, I think it's where so many people are stuck with gaming as a whole. The finality of the whole thing. I think people are holding their hobbies close to their chest more than ever. In the face of the world hurtling towards oblivion, this is most of what people have to distract themselves and establish a sense that everything is going to be okay. Gamers are in an especially weird spot trying to maintain this mentality. AAA games are rising in price and diminishing in quality. At the same time, you have a thriving indie game scene that most people will not even begin to scratch the surface of. So for the grand majority of the people who play games, it's hard to choose something that is on a sliding scale of 1, being fulfilling, and 2, having a lasting emotional impact on you. Grand experiences that are truly fulfilling are hard to come by. So am I not playing Outer Wilds because of how I feel about the games industry and the products they produce? No, that would be really stupid. But I do feel like there's something to be said that in a sea of mediocrity, gamers, but also people in general, try to be selective with their free time. Many chase the Breath of the Wilds and the Outer Wilds just the same, but since games are so long and there are so many of them, and they usually are so expensive to have as a hobby, you want to be 100% sure that everything is worth your time. It's important to be choosy, but not too choosy. Oh well, surely then the problem is the writing and discourse about games happening. Surely everything's okay with writing about games right now, right? Jokes aside, game writing is in a bad spot right now. Legacy institutions like Kotaku are shells of their former selves, and others just don't even exist anymore. Major game journalists have been replaced by contractors who get paid less, and then predictably those contractors will eventually be replaced by AI. As I'm writing this script, 2 major games writing / entertainment organizations, Polygon and Giant Bomb, were just gutted from the inside by parent companies selling them off and firing internal leadership. Editor's note, Giant Bomb actually just went indie, so that's great. Go support them if you can. It still makes me incredibly sad, as someone who wanted to be a games journalist and probably still does. And when these voices are destroyed from within by companies looking to pad their bottom lines, influencers begin to fill in the gaps. I'm not trying to say that everyone who makes content about video games is someone that's doing it for the wrong reasons. Heck, I technically am one of those people now. But when you take away the journalistic integrity that journalists are bound by, including vetting sources and writing from a relatively objective viewpoint, instead, you get people who operate at the beck and call of corporations backed by lucrative promotional deals. You begin to lose some of that objectivity. So am I not going to play Outer Wilds because I don't trust people who have written about the game? No, obviously not. There are writers that are still working right now at legacy institutions, at independent sites like Aftermath and now Giant Bomb, and independent journalists that I read all the time, and they have nothing but great things to say about Outer Wilds. Which brings me to the discourse part of the question. Games are a collective experience more than ever. People are encouraged to share their experiences playing games alone and with friends, often shouting into the void of their Twitter feeds to share their opinions. But so much of what gaming comes down to nowadays as a result of that collective experience is just a lot of arguments for the sake of arguing. I think the worst recent example of this was Assassin's Creed Shadows, which became the biggest poster child for the games are too woke debate, whatever the fuck that means. It devolved into months and months of shouting and racism on Twitter and elsewhere, and then just ended up being a mediocre game at best for me, despite reviewing well. Maybe this is just a sign I need to get off of Twitter. But the reality is that for people who claim to care about video games, no one wants to like them, but everyone wants to have a unique, hateful opinion about them and defend it until the death. There are times for constructive criticism, but too often does that get lost in the noise. So does the collective experience of Outer Wilds turn me off? No, obviously not. You should have followed this trend by now. It's one of the only games when I search the term almost anywhere that comes back with nearly universal appeal. It's a game that changes lives, I've been told. It's a game that brings people together who have gotten to experience this masterwork of art for the first time and then pretty much never again. So where does that leave us? It's not the game itself. It's not the industry getting me down. It's not the writing about it being bad. It's not even the discourse around the game preventing me from playing it. It's just me. I think there's something wrong with me. Not really, but I also just think that I haven't truly enjoyed or savored a game in a while. Outer Wilds is a game of discovery, but it asks a lot of the person playing it. It's a game about inevitability, as it takes place in a time loop of a dying universe that the game asks the player to explore and find the end of it. Find the center of the universe, the eye. It asks the player to trust in this loop, trust in the eventuality of everything. The eventuality that you will come back to the homeworld of Timber Hearth whenever you run out of time. The eventuality that you will die. The eventuality that you will find whatever it is that lies at the end of this infinitely dying universe. I have been stuck trying to delay this inevitability, delay the next big thing, positive or negative. I feel like more and more games that I have been gravitating towards are games that really just rush up my dopamine receptors to 1000, or are just long games full of checklists of things to do. Stuff like Balatro and other roguelikes have been mirrored by games like Assassin's Creed Shadows, where I either play for 30-minute bursts before I get bored, or play for 3 hours and still get bored. I forgo experiences that could be transformative. I think it's reflective that one of my favorite YouTube videos ever is How You Play Games is How You Do Everything. Shout out to Doozy. I think you commented on a video of mine once, but I'll double check. But I couldn't agree more with the sentiment. More and more of my life is consumed by attention-grabbing things trying to get me to stare at my phone or laptop or computer screen or TV screen for longer than the next thing that rolls in the door. Whose fault is that? I'm not sure, but I want to try to make it better at least. So that means I need to tackle these problems in the places where they show up the most often, which is my hobbies. Outer Wilds is the physical representation of that mental block. The game could be great. It could be just good. It could be just eh. It could be even amazing. But I won't ruin the potential that it could have if I never click play. The issue with all of this is that I was this close to breaking out of that rut. My roommate was playing Final Fantasy Rebirth on our PS5 for the better part of the last 3 or 4 months, and it was a joy just to watch him play it every time I walked in the living room. He loved every single part of it, and gushed about how the game is so alive and manages to combine genres and music so chaotically, yet all of it still fits together. But most of all, it made me jealous just to have an experience like that again, an experience so full of wonder that really consumed my time. After watching that, I held it to myself that I was going to have this big, beautiful experience like my roommate. Luckily, I had the perfect reward/work ratio set up to begin with. I was going to work on the control video, please go watch that one, for about a month, and then when I was done, I would purchase Assassin's Creed Shadows, the latest installment of one of my favorite franchises of all of video games. I struck out. I've been playing AZ Shadows for now about 35 hours, and it's not nearly what I expected. The old magic and love that I thought that I had for this series is gone. It doesn't hit nearly in the same way. Is that me getting old? Yeah, probably, but there isn't any reason to deny that my tastes might have changed while still acknowledging that this is a flawed game. Which begs the question, how am I supposed to dive into something else that I think I'm going to have a good time with if I can't even do that with my favorite game series? I think this is just more of an unwillingness to start over, or really stick to anything at all. Many such times this would happen to me at the beginning of playing Outer Wilds. I'd go to a planet, look around and explore until I got swallowed by a black hole in Brittle Hollow, or drowned in Giant's Deep, or died in the eventual explosion of the sun. I'd be just as frustrated no matter how much progress I would make. But I didn't want to try again. I felt like this repetition was robbing me of my perfect experience playing this game. I think I was just struggling with the finality of it all. I couldn't bring myself to finish the game that I half started because I felt like my experiences was tainted from the jump. It goes hand in hand with everything in life now, and more of a symptom of the general dissatisfaction, hyperabundance, and lack of boredom that people have when they interface with society and its social systems. Don't like your job? Just quit, move on to the next one. Didn't like that Instagram reel or TikTok you were just watching? Go on another app and keep scrolling there for eternity, and maybe the next best thing will actually keep your attention. Everyone's steady state is hardly steady anymore. Nothing is ever finite because the next thing is right around the corner. Endless entertainment, but none of it is good. It ruins the journeys that are final, the journeys that do only happen a few times in your life. The entertainment and hobbies that are worthwhile and are worth keeping around. At least I think so. I'm not asking for anyone to feel bad for me. No one should. This is a video essay about me not being able to get past a mental block to play a fucking video game. But how you play games is how you do everything. And I just can't get past this wall pretending like this is a problem only stuck on my computer screen. This entire video I've just been blaming this issue on other experiences, other people, other systems that are not within my control. I can't do anything about any of those. Put simply, if I can't click the play button out of fear of, well, trying something and it not being everything I've ever dreamed of in a video game, then what's the point of taking any risk in life at all? Maybe I should just go back to the slop. Or maybe I will stop thinking about all of that for a moment. Maybe I'll remember that I have free will. Our hobbies are what we make of them. Maybe they will fade into obscurity as we age, maybe they will just become our jobs, or maybe they'll just be hobbies that stick with you throughout your life. But expressing yourself and supporting great art will leave you with a far fuller life than without it. And for people who love video games like me, that means reaching outside of yourself, outside of your comfort zone. Play something you've never played before. Comment something nice under an article of a YouTube video of one of the few full-time game journalists that we have left. Join a Discord and talk about games with people that you like. Write a review yourself. Better yet, do all of this in public without looking at your phone. Maybe, just have the courage to strike out every once in a while. But this isn't meant to be preachy. I'm going to be doing the same thing right along with you, trying to change my habits and my life for the better. Even if it is scary to step outside of yourself, just try to. It's a really scary thing. Believe me, I know it. But maybe I'll look at the stars, think about our place within them, breathe, walk to my desk, and click play anyways.